Oh. Okay. Okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's very good to see you and to come with your presence in this special Shabbat, the Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Do you know what is the name of this Shabbat?
Shabbat Shuva.
Shabbat Shuva, the Shabbat of return. And we will be talking a little bit about this idea of return later. So we will start our Kabbalat Shabbat, lighting Shabbat candles on page 120. And I'd like to invite Steve and Fran. I was surprised because we said that we want also men just to light candles. And I said, okay. No, they went for that, so Steve. So Steve and Fran Sherman to light Shabbat candles, and you can follow them on page 120. What? The same thing? Shabbat Shalom. It's fine. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Mevorach. We turn our Sidurim to page 129 for Dodili. Let's take one more moment on page 129 to sing. It's not in one. It is on page 128 to sing Ine Matov Umanaim. As we recognize this gathering, our gathering this Shabbat evening. Ihine matov umanayim shevet achim gal yachad. 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 We turn our Sidurim to page 134 for Zamru LaAdonai.
Zamru LaAdonai bechinot, bechinot v'kol zimra, b'chatotot v'kol shofar. Ariyu b'fnei HaMelech Adonai. Hiram hayamom lo, tevel ve'yoshveva, ha'enai neharot, kimcha uchav, ha'af yachad, harim yihanenu. B'fnei Adonai kivat, yishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel v'tzedek, ve'amim v'meisharim. Hiram hayamom lo, tevel ve'yoshveva, ha'enai neharot, imcha uchav, ha'af yachad, harim yiranenu.
Ha'af yachad,
harim yiranenu.
On Shabbat, we come to the encounter of that is holy for us, that we convert in something holy. We turn our Sidurim to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. We are going to sing the first, the second, the fifth, the sixth, and the ninth verses. Yadadadadai Lecha Dodi.
Yalalalalai likrat kala, yalalalalai penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat, nekabelai elai, yalalalalai lecha dodi,
Shabbat, Nekav Elai, לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת, נקב אליי, לקראת שבת, לכו ונלחם, כי מכל הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת, נקב אליי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 בני שבת, בני שבת, נקב אליי, התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 תדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך מילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי, לא תבושי ולא תקמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחזו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר אל תילה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי, בול בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקב אליי. And as we have welcomed Shabbat, it is our custom to welcome each other after the Chadodi, so we encourage you to turn to the person sitting next to you and say Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and to acknowledge if there is anybody you haven't seen for a while, say good Shabbos everyone. And if there is a face you don't recognize, make a point out of saying Shabbat Shalom everyone, welcome, Shabbat Shalom. I know, yes, we turn our Sidurim. We turn our Sidurim to page 144 for Hetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ועמד יפרח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחייתך בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולם לעמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה אמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We are on page 146. Please rise for Baruch.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך Please join me on page 148 as we read together in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Turn our Siddurim to page 150. And we start thinking about an everlasting love. Avat Olam.
Avat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta.
נשתבח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. לאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
I invite you to close your eyes and to turn the page as you join us for the Shema. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. On page 154, please join me. You shall love Adonai, your God,
with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments, and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת אמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו, כי אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We continue with the silent reading over page 156. תנביא מלאכים על כן הכל, לא מכף ארצים ובלות ושקר של חיים. As we turn our Siddurim to page 158, we think about the challenges that we are facing this year and how we are going to walk toward them with faith. say, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Gaal Israel.
Amen.
We turn our Siddurim to page 160. Rashkivenu, we think about our inner peace.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim, ufros aleinu. Sukkot shomecha, ותקננו בעצה טוב מלפניך. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pray one day, 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 one
ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, guardian of Israel, shelter of peace is spread over us, over your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 162, we remember our transgenerational covenant to keep Shabbat, to remember Shabbat, to have this wonderful day as a part of our lives. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. בששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש.
We turn our Siddurim to page 164. Please rise for Tfilat Amidah. And as we pray Tfilat Amidah, I'd like to invite you in this first Tfilat Amidah of Shabbat of the year to take a moment for your personal prayer, to try to find a moment to listen to your inner voice, to the voice and to the sound of your soul.
Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agitei Latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
הקדוש ברוך הקדוש, וקדושים לחייך וחסר ברוך אתה אדוני על הקדוש, המלך הקדוש, אתה קדשתם כמה שמש. ומחולש אתה עונה אלינו ולנו ואתה נובעים אותם. כתוב לך אין טובים ולבני בריתך, ויבוא לך מדוק, חסר לה ירח, השם מחממת, האלה שרתנו ושרתנו סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני יתו שנחלל העדה יעודו. We're on page 178, and in Shabbat Shuva we say the words, the Sefer Chaim in the Book of Life, blessing, peace and prosperity. May we be remembered and inscribed by you.
בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה ניזכר וניכתב לפניך אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים, לחיים טובים ולשלום.
עושה שלום ברמה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה
ועל כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום,
שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Shabbat Shuva. So in this Shabbat of return, we also sometimes use melodies that return us to somewhere else, to a different time. We turn our Siddurim now to page 371 as we take a moment to acknowledge there are people that are dealing with illness in their bodies, in their souls, people that are dealing with addictions. And if you have a name that you like to share in this evening of Shabbat, please do so. As I
Megan Swindler.
Now we bring our voices together as we pray on page 371, Misheberach.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor Abracha of strength, who will bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Misheberach Imotenu Mekor Abracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We wish to all of them refuah shlema ve'achlama meira, a complete and a fast recovery. So good Shabbos, everyone. I was planning to sit here, but I just realized that we kept the distance that we have for the high holidays, and you are so far, so it doesn't feel right. So, I have been wondering about a very simple question now that we are getting closer to Yom Kippur, and you might be able to help me. What is the book of life? Can you tell me? Judy?
A covenant between God and those who accept Him as God, that He will preserve their lives of their children through every generation, and that is life.
So, I'm not sure I understood.
God. Adonai.
Yes, I know the name. I changed you the name. I promise you in the The second day of Yom Kippur, like in the day of Yom Kippur, I will work with that word specifically. But no, just not. So it's a covenant. You said that it's a covenant between us and God. Okay, it's a covenant. There's something about forgiveness. Any other idea? Yeah, please. There's a book. Okay. If you behave. Oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, so, and Susan, you were.
Could also be asking to remain alive in the moment, to appreciate every moment that we are here, to do what needs to be done every moment.
Okay, so, okay, Caroline. It's almost Hasidic, Caroline, what you are saying.
Maybe I'm
You
almost
might be. You might be. So, any other idea before I try to work with yours? And okay, so a word about the book of life. This is not the first time I say this, so I will repeat myself. If you heard me saying this in the past, you might discover that I am consistent. Now, in my personal opinion, the book of life is a metaphor. And the idea of the judge is, of course, a metaphor. I personally don't think that right now there is a God above deciding if I am going to end my days in another 6 months or in another 60 years, hopefully 70 years. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that Judaism thinks about the book of life on that way. During the Yamim HaNoraim, the terrible days, we realize the fragility of our lives. We realize that our lives are timed, and what we ask is for a life with purpose, for a life with wholeness, knowing that we don't have control, or not much control, over the time in which we are going to leave this world physically. And, you know, this week is a very good example for some of us in the personal level. We just said goodbye to Hank a few days ago. And for this nation, in the national level, because of 9/11, where thousands of lives were erased from this world in a moment. And believe me, there was no judge above in Yom Kippur saying that these people needed to go somewhere. And because also the name of this Torah portion is Vayelech. Moses is going to be gone. Vayelech is from the word lalechet, from the verb to walk. He's walking away. He's 120 years old, and he's telling to the children of Israel, you need to realize that you will continue now without me. So the story of the book of life is a very important metaphor for us to think about how to be alive while we are alive. Now, I want to share with you a story, and let me tell you in advance, it does not have a happy end. Okay? At least not in the story. Once upon a time, there was a man who was extremely anxious when it came to his own illness. More than anything, he feared the day that he was going to die. One day, he had one of his many very crazy ideas. It occurred to him that perhaps, in fact, he was already dead. So he said to his wife, "Tell me, my wife, is it possible that I am dead?" The woman laughed and told him to touch his hands and feet. "You see, they are warm." "Well, that means that you are alive. If you were dead, your hands and feet would be cold as ice." This seemed like quite a rational explanation to the man, so he was able to calm down. A few weeks later, on a day when it had begun to snow, the man ventured into the woods to chop some firewood. When he reached the forest, he took off his gloves and began to cut down tree trunks with his axe. Without thinking about it, he wiped his hand across his brow and noticed that his hand was cold like ice. Recalling what his wife had said, he took off one of his shoes and socks and realized in horror that his feet were ice cold too. He had no doubt then. He realized he was dead. "It's not good for a dead man to be out here chopping firewood," he said to himself. So he dropped the axe beside his mule and lay down quietly on the frozen ground, hands crossed over his chest, and closed his eyes. After he had been lying there for a little while, a pack of wolves approached the saddlebags where he had stored his provisions. Since there was nothing stopping them, they demolished the bags and devoured everything edible inside them. The man thought, "It's a good thing for them I am dead. They would never have done that to me otherwise. I would have given them a good kicking." The pack kept sniffing around and came upon the man's mule tied to a tree. It made easy prey for the dog's sharp teeth. The mule backed and whined, but the man only thought that he had been alive. He would like to defend it. In a very little time, they finished the animal off, and only a few wolves remained now in its bones. Insatiable, the pack kept circling the area. Before long, one of the wolves caught scent of the man. It looked around and saw the woodcutter laid out, motionless, on the ground. Very, very slowly, it made its approach because man was dangerous, was the most dangerous animal, full of tricks. In just a few moments, all of the wolves had surrounded the man, staring down with their jaws, slobbering. "Now they are going to eat me," he thought. "If I weren't dead, this would be a very different story." The wolves got closer and closer, and seeing that the man remained motionless, they ate him alive. Now he is. Now, as we said, the book of life is a metaphor. And it's a metaphor that comes to teach us that we can be gone and we can kill ourselves even when we are alive. And that the way to actually experience our lives and to I know, it's a tough story, Alice. I see your face. You're still struggling, but I told you that it was going to be. I can't ignore your very sad face. I just want to, okay, let me stop 1 second this bar Torah for Alice. It's just a story. Okay. It's just a story. It never happened, okay? Okay, now, I promise it never happened. And there are no kids in the sanctuary. I promise everyone it didn't happen. But this is the thing. When we think about mortality, when we think about dying with such a level of stupidity, it kills us. We can't think about that. And then Jewish tradition puts there, right there for you, the book of life to tell you, you better find some purpose on your life. You better do something with this gift. Today is Shabbat Shuva. We remember that our time on earth is timed, is limited, and that we have a great gift, a great opportunity, and that we need to stop saying that our hands and feet are cold, and we need to challenge the fact that we sometimes remain motionless, and we need to embrace our lives, and we need to challenge those things that we have understood that there's no way to change. There might be a way to change them. There might be a way to look at them in a different way. And this is the time of the year in which we take our lives in our hands and we move on. So I want to wish you a meaningful time. I want to wish you that these Yamim Noraim, these terrible days, are not so terrible, but actually a great opportunity for each of us to embrace the journeys that we need to embrace. We will continue our service on page 586 with Aleinu Leshabeach. Please rise.
Aleinu Leshabeach Adon HaKol, Latet Gerula Liotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kimishpechot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Korim, Umishtahavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim Beyoser Haaretz, Umoshav Yakaro Bashamayim Imah, Ushchinatu Zo, Begovei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einot, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulatov, Kakatuv B'Torato, V'yadata Hayom V'hashivot Ha'elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Mima'al Ve'al haaretz Mitachat Elot V'ne'emar Ve'haya Adonai Le'melech HaKol haaretz Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai
at this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning Shiva, please rise and remind us who you are remembering, please. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning Shloshim, please rise.
My mother-in-law, Doreen Overgain.
If you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise. If you have a yahrzeit, an anniversary of death this week, please rise. Baba? Now you can support our fellows who are standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and your kavanot, your intentions, on page 598 for Mourners Kaddish. Itgadal be'itgadash shemer rabba, be'alma divra chirute, be'amlich malchute, b'chayechon u'b'mechon, u'b'chaye dechol beit Israel, ba'agala u'b'zman karib, be'imru amen. יאה שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי אלמיה. יתברך, בישתבח, ביתפאר, ביתרומם, ביתנשא. ביתהדר, ביתעלה, ביתהלל, שמי לקודשה. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירם בעלמה באמרו אמן. יאה שלמה רבה מן שמיה. בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל באמרו אמן. עושה שלום באמרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be for a blessing, zichronam lebracha. You may be seated. Important thing about this idea of T'shuvah, one more thing. I met Hank a couple of times before he passed away. And it was very remarkable. I was very touched by the level of wholeness that he had when he came to his last hour. And the idea of T'shuvah has nothing to do, or it's not about the way in which you die. It has to do with the way in which you live your life. And if you somehow do T'shuvah, so you can come to your last hour, the high level of wholeness.